I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with the cattle market summary for the week ending December the 11th, where we're definitely in a buyer's market when it's coming to cattle, or really all classes of beef right now. Your board was down hard this week. It showed a few signs of some support in the latter parts of the week, but live cattle, December contract on Friday was down just 10 cents at 121.45, but lost nearly $3 for the week, down 282. Feeder cattle, a January contract on Friday was down 92 cents to end the week at 152.12, losing $7.33 for the week. And Wednesday by far was the worst day of the week this week, and we really hope that it was the extreme bottom, the floor of this most recent major correction or little wreck or whatever we want to call it here, but everything was really down hard on Wednesday. It seemed like when we got into Thursday it was just a touch better, as we saw some and I'm talking about the cash market, as we saw some support on the board, and then we saw even just from Wednesday to Thursday some yearling prices in some feeder cattle auctions, the Southern Plains especially, that were just sharply higher on Thursday than what sold on Wednesday. Of course, the Thursday sales were also cheaper than they were the prior week, but it was just so much better than it was on Wednesday, because it just seemed like the world was coming to an end on Wednesday. Your fat cattle this week were down hard, $5 to $6 lower, just kind of an average movement. I haven't got them all put together for the week, but won't be nearly as big as the prior week, but sold from 116 to 119. We're not sure exactly where that weighted average is going to be, and I'll report that whenever I come out in the middle of the week report. And dress sales from 184 to 188. We did have a pretty decent slaughter this week, though, estimated to be 581,000, which is 21,000 more than last week and 11,000 more than the same week a year ago. So they are getting those cattle bought cheap enough they can't resist slaughtering a few extras, and that will help get us out of this problem if they can continue to keep those slaughter levels and change speeds at a decent level. Your cash feeders and calves were from $10 to $30 lower, probably mostly $20 lower, but on Wednesday on the extremes there were sure some strings of cattle compared to strings of cattle the previous week that were as much as $30 lower, but probably for the most part your losses were around $20. Now down in the southeast it wasn't quite that bad. The southeastern calves $5 to $10 lower. One reason is because they do most of their business early in the week there in the southeast, and the Monday and Tuesday sales run heavy there, and maybe they got rid of or got most of those sales done before that, but just not quite as sharply lower as it was through the central parts of the United States. Really heavy receipts this week in the auction markets. We really slowed down on our direct shipments coming in. Most of your big ranches have shipped their calves. Not seeing a whole lot of shipments, hardly any yearlings at all being shipped direct right now. But a lot of cattle hitting the sale barns, your smaller producers, some of your calves that need to be sexed and sized and all that kind of thing are hitting the markets this week. They tend to get in there right around the new year, depending on the tax, what guys need to do with their taxes. Of course, a lot of your bigger sale barns, if you trust them well enough, you can defer payment until after the first of the year. But places like Missouri had its biggest movement so far this week as a state in the auction markets, but really heavy receipts selling around. A lot of those calves are selling as much as $1 a pound or $100 per hundred, lower than the same week a year ago. So kind of an eye-opening experience for some of these guys if they haven't been keeping up with the market. But your feeder cattle index, based on a 750-pound steer, is down below 160 now, and it's also went below the 5-year average price for that feeder cattle index too. So we've dropped significantly And like I said, we're sure enough in a buyer's market. The one good thing about this is we don't fear what's coming up when the supplies start building up again, because we're lower now than what a lot of us thought that we would ever get in the near term here when we got into the bigger numbers. So we're just in a real volatile market right now, and then we've got kind of lighter demand, and we've got several other things that are coming in and pressuring this market, including our strong dollar, our weak exports, a lot of competing proteins on the market right now. And so all those things are really hitting in there. And so we don't really fear the increased supplies that we know are coming down the road, because we're not going to get a whole lot worse than we are right now. Some guys are thinking that the fats will have to get down to $1 a pound before they'll find any support. I don't personally think they'll get that cheap, but I do think that the market will be better as we get into the latter winter months and the early spring. There's going to be better demand for feeder cattle and calves as we get into the spring market. You know, a lot of these guys and most of us are guilty of that. It's the only way we know how to make money. You wonder why a farmer continues to grow corn when he knows that corn's not going to make any money. Well, he's got a corn planter and he's got a corn head on his combine, and that's what he knows how to do. And that's how a lot of cattle guys are. That's the only thing they know how to do. That's where they lost that money. That's where they're going to go back and try to look for it. So guys will start getting in and putting together grass cattle again right after the first of the year, just like they have been for the last several years. And there'll be better demand for cattle. Whether or not we get better demand for beef, we don't know. Right now, your fat cattle and your just cattle in general, compared to what beef is costing, is there's a big spread right there, because you got too many people making too much money in the middle. It's kind of like your oil and gas. As cheap as this oil is per barrel, our gas should be half what it is. Your diesel should be less than that. But there's a lot of people making a lot of money in the middle there. But you look at some markets on Cattle Market Central this week. South Coffeyville, Oklahoma, had a load of steers there. It's weighed 757 on Friday, bring 155.75. That's a pretty good market in the southern plains there in that part of the country. Look at a good calf market there in Winter, South Dakota at the Winter Livestock Auction. They had a big load of 532-pound steers, bring $1.93, and that's about as close to $2 a pound that you can really ask for steers weighing that much over 5. Check out DV Auction. We've still got some bull sales left and some replacement stock sales here left between now and the end of the year. Thinking about Christmas, you always like to watch the Griswolds. Well, check out on Saturday, December the 19th, you can check out the Griswold Classic Female Sale out of Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's all for this week. My home office here in Maysville, Missouri. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.